Oh my gosh, no. This post could have been so much better. I mean, this one is a good one. This one is a good one. I'm gonna take you to the next level of LinkedIn. So you've heard about LinkedIn and I've created a profile, and now you want to take it to the next step where you are engaging intentionally and your network is made of authentic, like-minded individuals and professionals. But where do you start and how do you get there? This is where myself, Ellen Undima, as well as Randall Mabwa from Blue Ventures can help. Welcome to this Rita. We want to take you through some common mistakes, some good tips and tricks on how to make sure that your LinkedIn engagement does become fruitful and helps you build a stronger network to maximize your potential as a professional and as an organization. Let's get started. Building your network can be difficult, but this is the easiest way to go about it. First, follow people you already know. And once you follow them, you're able to leverage from their networks more people that you might have a mutual connection with. For example, if I connect with Randall, I might be able to connect with other creators that Randall is connected to on LinkedIn. So this is how I can leverage from Randall's network and find more like-minded individuals. I can also use filters so that I can see mutual connections and the people that I already know on LinkedIn that Randall also knows on LinkedIn. A pro tip I would add is that to add on to the people that you already know, I would also suggest following profiles that are aspiring to you or people you want to learn from. But do this with a bit of intuition and a bit of intentionality, because what you don't want to do is have 100 people you're following that overwhelm your page as you are scrolling down. Instead, follow one or two, maximum 5 people that you're able to learn from, and then work along there once you have people that you can really connect and engage with on LinkedIn. You could also use LinkedIn pages to learn a lot about different organizations or create one of your own about your organization. So these are two examples because they also have a range of content. So for example, Blue Ventures tends to have really engaging videos and very well written captions in order to express what they're doing, where they're doing it, and what they are posting about. Tusk also does this in a very special way where they also have articles. Other pages also have other information, for example, PDFs that you can download, carousels that you can look through, tips and tricks. This way you are able to engage with the content that suits you and is relevant to you. These are some of the examples from the connections that I have that I love reading content from. So we have someone in the creative sector who has a very relaxed and casual way of expressing their thoughts. And she really engages with what I find really interesting in a way that is casual and thoughtful, as well as, you know, very millennial like. The language is great. I understand it very well. And it's not super formal. Randall is also another one that I also follow because he has very useful information about conservation, especially around East Africa. I also follow our CEO, Fred, because he tends to have very fruitful way. He has a very fruitful way of sharing some of the content that he comes across. For example, this one that he's reposted about Resource Africa, which is also a really good way to be able to engage with other people by sharing their content. Now, maybe you've been able to share content, maybe you've created posts, but how do you engage with pages and people on LinkedIn? Well, a great way is to be able to use the reactions and comment, repost, share, and send to other people. And I want to just go take a little deep dive in how to do that. Now, we've got this great post here, and I'm just going to use this example to show the difference between reacting, sharing a simple post, and really being engaging on LinkedIn. You can find that a lot of people have liked or reacted to the post, and this is a great way to show that, hey, I've acknowledged the post, I've seen it, and I like it, for example. A better way is to be able to leave a comment, but not just any comment. For like example, thanks for sharing, which is a simple form of engagement but doesn't really bring value to the reader. A great way to engage is by showing learnings, asking questions, and showing that you are curious for more information. For example, the message or the comment right after thanks for sharing, which really shows that this person was at this event and they're also sharing what they have learned and their takeaways. And I find this a really good way to engage because then you are also letting people know that, hey, I want to be part of this conversation as well.
Now, what type of content should you be sharing on LinkedIn? Now, ideally, you should be able to position yourself as a thought leader. And basically, that means that whatever content you put out should be able to challenge uh, people's um people's views on a particular topic. You should be able to pose solutions. You should be able to educate. You should be able to raise awareness, just like I mentioned earlier on. If you look at the Blue Ventures LinkedIn profile, specifically on the posts, you'd see that we engage audiences using different styles. For instance, short videos, reels, that people who necessarily don't have the time to go in and read a long article would be easily to would easily take in information through a short video, or they would easily look at a post and look at a photograph or an image of a community member in action. Let's say someone who is gleaning for octopus, and they'll be able to relate to the message just by reading a short caption. Now, rule number one, it's quite simple: keep it short and avoid jargon, so that a non expert audience can grasp the message with ease. Now, you'd ask, what do you want to be known for on the LinkedIn platform? So, for instance, if you go to my profile, you realize that I've posed myself as a storyteller and science communicator. That's what I am. That's what I do professionally. Now, I cannot come and start posting content about what food, for instance. As much as I love cooking, you know, I'd want to keep it locked or keep it focused on content that speaks to science communication in conservation, or science communication in whatever field, if that's the field that you're working on. So that should be rule number one, so that people do not confuse what you do on a frequent basis. So if you're consistent with the messaging that you put out there, people are able to connect to you easily. Another thing that you need to have in mind is that you need to make sure that you're unique and that you keep it professional, and you should be authentic. That means you do not copy other people's styles. As much as we learn by seeing what other people do, we should be able to focus more on how do we want to be perceived. Yeah. And now that is where your style comes in. Now, as you're sharing information, you should think about using visuals, because this will help people to engage more with the content that you're putting out there. If you look at the current digital age, there's so much content being put out there. So, how do you make sure that your content stands out? You know, reels are a good way of actually putting out content, visuals, infographics, so that people can engage easily with the content that you put out there. And that is a very nice way to put out information on LinkedIn. Thank you.